Folks, today I want to talk to you about a story of perseverance, and it is with Buccaneers offensive guard Michael Jordan. No, not that Michael Jordan, a different Michael Jordan, who was a fourth-round draft pick in the 2019 NFL Draft by his hometown Cincinnati Bengals. You see, Michael Jordan was born in Cincinnati. He would actually go on to play for the Ohio State University and was actually pretty solid during his time playing with the Buckeyes. So, he was drafted by his hometown Bengals and played 19 games in 2 years while in Cincinnati, and overall, he did fine, all things considered, but the Bengals felt like it was time to move on, and on August 31st, 2021, Jordan was waived by the Bengals. Now, one day later on September 1st, 2021, Jordan was claimed off waivers by the Bucs rival Carolina Panthers. However, a month later, on October 4th, 21, Jordan was waived by the Panthers and re-signed to the practice squad. He would then be promoted to the active roster 2 weeks later on October 16th, 2021. He would then also spend the 22 season with Carolina as well, his most notable play being recovering a fumble by Sam Darnold in the end zone for the game-tying touchdown against the New Orleans Saints. Then, on May 11th, 2023, Jordan was re-signed by the Panthers, however, was then released a couple of months later on August 29th, 2023. One kind of cool, important thing to note, in my opinion, by the way, is that Baker Mayfield and Michael Jordan both spent time in 22 together with the Carolina Panthers. Mayfield was there for about half of the season before he would eventually be released. Michael Jordan was there the entire season. So it is just kind of nice to see those two already have a connection and a history together based on their time in Carolina. Right at the start of the 2023 season, Jordan signed to the Green Bay Packers practice squad. He would be there throughout the entirety of the season, and on January 20th of 2024, he was released from the practice squad. 4 days later, on January 24th, 2024, Jordan would sign with the New England Patriots. He would be released a few months later on August 28th and would re-sign to the practice squad. However, on September 16th, he would be promoted to the active roster. He actually ended up starting 11 games at left guard before being released on November 26th and re-signing to the practice squad on November 29th. He would then be released by the Patriots outright on December 3rd. So you're looking at a scenario where this guy went from being a full season-long starter for the Patriots along that offensive line to being relegated to the practice squad, then to being outright released by New England. That is a pretty rough deal in my opinion. However, just a few days later on December 9th, Jordan would return to Green Bay to sign with the Green Bay Packers practice squad, where he would remain on there throughout the remainder of the 2024 season. And now this is where Tampa Bay comes in. On July 24th, 2025, Jordan signed with the Buccaneers, and he actually showcased some pretty solid, versatile ability playing both guard and tackle for the Bucs throughout training camp and preseason and things along those lines. Now, he was released on August 26th as part of the final roster cuts for the Buccaneers. However, as is a trend with Jordan, he would sign to the Bucs practice squad the next day. We now find a scenario in where Michael Jordan is starting games for the Bucs in the regular season at left guard due to a massive shift across the offensive line in Tampa Bay at this point, while they wait for Tristan Wirfs to full-on recover from his injuries. So during that time, Michael Jordan is getting opportunities to start for yet another NFL team. And folks, this story is interesting to me for a lot of reasons, because Jordan found himself playing for one of the greatest college teams in the nation in Ohio State, one of the greatest colleges, period, in the nation in Ohio State, his hometown team of Cincinnati, Ohio. He would then go on to be drafted by his hometown Cincinnati Bengals, and that is a great story just right then and there, period, right? Hometown guy, plays for Ohio State, gets drafted by his hometown NFL team. What's not to love, right? But then things shifted after just a couple of years, and Jordan found himself bouncing from team to team to team, from place to place to place, from the AFC to the NFC, back to the AFC, back to the NFC. He had to move to so many different scenarios and found himself in so many different situations so quickly that it could be hard for any player to cope with and to thrive in those types of scenarios. And look, while he does find himself on his 5th NFL team now with the Buccaneers since he got drafted back in 2019. He is still finding ways to be useful at the NFL level. I mean, for goodness sakes, he has literally started for 4 total NFL teams now, and that's coming from a guy who was a 4th round draft pick. That's pretty darn impressive in my opinion. To be able to go to so many different scenarios and still be able to carve out a niche for yourself and still be able to be a starting caliber offensive lineman at the NFL despite all the change in circumstances that you went through is very commendable in my opinion. So Michael Jordan is certainly a guy that I am rooting for. I want to see him have success at the NFL level continuing to go forward. I want him to have success with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going forward because I feel like he has shown so much resiliency, so much versatility, and just so many good things in terms of what you want to see as a potential starting offensive lineman at the NFL. But I wanted to tell you guys this story today because I wanted to showcase, hey, if you keep on plugging away at something, if you keep on fighting for something, you can still make the most out of your opportunities when they do arise. What do you guys think about Michael Jordan's story? Let me know down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.